3, 2, 1. Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of GTV. Today we're gonna do another reaction video on the K-drama Startup, and the scenes here are from episode 13. So right now you are watching GTV and I'm Ginger.
And I am Injae.
Yes, so in GTV, I usually do videos on business, freelancing, creating a startup, all of these things that are related to entrepreneurship and freelancing. And I'm actually also a tech startup co-founder. And also Injae is
a co-founder as well. Same
yes,
startup.
Same startup.
So we are co-founders of a RegTech startup here in the Philippines. Named Taxumo. If you need to file your taxes, check it out. But yeah, this is a startup we started. So a lot of the experiences, a lot of what we'll say actually comes from our own experience. With a startup. A lot of the scenes are very relatable. Of course, they are more wildly successful, as per the story. So may bitterness, but yes, we could speak about some of the scenes that are happening.
Yeah, so our startup was founded in 2016, so we've been in business for 4 years already.
Yeah.
So there.
All right.
That's it. Let's go to and watch the scene from the episode.
So
Episode
this is
13.
Yes.
Sorry, episode 13.
Yes, this is episode 13. Some background, I believe they already separated. They were acquired by another company, and the developers, I believe, are now based in San Francisco, while the two other founders are still in Korea.
Yeah, and they have their own things going on.
And this is the first this is a flashback of things that have happened since.
샌드박스 12기 삼산텍이 개발한 눈길이 투스토에 인수된 후에도 지속적인 서비스 확장을 하고 있습니다. 이번 신규 버전에는 알약을 인식하는 기능까지 추가했습니다. 지난 분기 최고 실적을 기록한 인제 컴퍼니는 신사업 개발팀을 별도 법인인 청명 컴퍼니로 분사합니다. 신사업 개발팀을 이끌던 서달미 씨가 대표를 맡아 경영을 책임지기로 했습니다.
It would have been interesting to see the relationship of the two sisters. I don't think it was that smooth. Because for the longest time, Dal-Mi's intention was really to show off. She could actually do whatever her sister could do. And that was sort of the main premise during the earlier episodes. And then just for this episode, it seemed like they totally forgot that. Diba? They sort of let that go, and she applied. I don't know if you we didn't show you the first part of the episode, but she applied as the strategic manager or strat planner for the older sister's company, and then she got the job and she was promoted to COO. But it would have been interesting to see how they work together after being rivals for a time. Diba? There. So something like that.
투스토의 시각장애인 서비스 눈길이 세계 최대 민간 재단으로 인수됐습니다. 샌드박스 파트너사 중 하나인 모닝그룹에서 국내 최대 규모의 AI 센터를 설립했습니다. 삼산텍 출신의 남도산 씨가 이끄는 개발팀이 투스토 인공지능센터의 핵심 부서로 선정됐습니다. 이 팀은 실리콘밸리 내의 스마트시티 구축 사업 분야에서 두각을 나타내며
Yeah. So what do you think? All the drama from the previous episode, and now they're doing well. So parang sayang yung effort ng kanilang pagdadrama.
Yeah. I think what's interesting is that it's this is what people see from the outside. That the product is built, and then people think, of course it'll sell. It's such a good idea. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I do think that a lot of work is sort of glossed over.
Yeah.
The impression I'm getting is that, as long as you build the product, they will come, which is not the case. No, a lot of work also goes into nurturing the market that you want to reach, and helping them, sort of like get onboarded into your platform, helping them understand what it is you're trying to do, and particularly for them, since their app, or at least their technology, I believe, is like very specifically created for the visually impaired. I'm not exactly sure how they're making money. Speaking of that, no, they're when they were acquired, so they're most likely, most of their money comes from salary, because when an acquisition happens, and if it's a bigger company, more often than not, there's a, if not 100% share swap, like a big chunk of the acquisition is basically they will pay you with shares of the other company.
Yeah.
And so the tricky thing there is that you're essentially trading the risk that you control with the risk that they now control, that you don't control,
That they
basically.
have,
No,
yeah.
so Samsung Tech traded in their shares for shares of 2STO.
STO.
Yeah, so I believe
Yeah.
that's the name of the company. And so there is a chance that there was a partial exit from there, meaning they were paid a little bit, but since it was an acquihire, likely they were paid a salary. No. Yeah. So unless they like liquidate their shares, they wouldn't really be swimming in cash yet. No, unless of course their salary is really big.
Yeah.
점심 먹고 오는 길이에요?
네,
어디서 먹었어요?
어디서 먹었는지까지 보고해야 되나요?
아니 아까 본 거 같아가지고.
샌드박스 카페테리아에서 먹었는데요.
그래요? 잘못 봤나? 같이 가죠. 회사 홍보 영상 촬영 있는데.
바쁩니다.
네.
So what are your thoughts, EJ, on that dev part?
I don't think it's a dev thing. I think it's an employee disengagement thing. But I think they were setting it up because something is gonna happen at the end of the episode. But I think like disengagement really does happen. And this is like not just disengaged. They are actively disengaged, meaning they are rude. so it's very, the work, any work, honestly, not just startups, but work is hard, and the last thing you want is to work with assholes. And there's a lot of like, there's a thing wherein you can hire like rock stars, essentially.
Yeah.
But I think the challenge with that type of culture centered around certain rock stars is that, number one, you have a huge point of failure. If you lose your rock star, you are basically dead. And aside from that, there is a culture of it's not necessarily individuality. I think it's okay to be individuals in a company, but I think if everything is like, I guess the point of failure thing is really the challenge that you have. Yeah.
Well, from my point of view naman, it was a shoot. It was a marketing shoot that they were going to. So as devs, I mean, if you were invited, it's fine, no? To like, and the objective why you needed to be there was I hope it was laid out for them to understand. But in this particular scene, if I was like from the engineering team, I would probably just say the same, but not that assholey way of saying it. No, but why should I be there? Like, what inputs can I give really when it comes to like creative inputs for a marketing shoot?
That's
right?
true.
So
that's a very good point, no?
yeah. So I don't really understand why they all needed to be in a briefing.
That's true, no? Pati yung kanina, you didn't see, there was this interview of Dal-Mi, and they were all there. They were all interviewing her. And it's like, what is this? So it's so weird. I think one of the
even the devs were there.
True. One of the big roles of a manager in the company is that you protect the time of your people.
Yeah.
You make sure that they are working on the right things and that they have time to work on the right things. If you involve them in every little thing, then you're not really doing a very good job of that.
Yeah.
All right.
There. Okay. Let's proceed.
자, 구독자님들 어때요? 배경이 막 겁나 막 심상치가 않죠? 에? 여기가 바로 투스톡 하기 전에 몸담았던 삼산택의 시작이었습니다. 뭐 저희의 역사적인 공간인 게 라이브를 한번 슬쩍 켜봤어요.
아, 저희가 여기서 나간 지 3년이 넘었는데 아직도 임대가 안 되고 있대요.
아하, 이런. 그 말인즉슨 겁나 척박한 환경부터 저희가 성장을 했다는 뜻이겠죠? 네.
진짜 눈물 나려고 그런다.
Okay. Well, I think those kinds of things, no, it's all about the story that you tell later on. Like, it's a big jump when you tell them that, hey, this is my, like, oftentimes people tell their garage story, diba? So, like, this is where we worked before we attained success, and now look at us. We are in this huge office with nice things in a yacht. So, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not the case for all startups, really.
Yeah. We started out in a co-working space. Shout out to Impact Hub.
Yes.
So we started out there. And then, we later found out that we needed a bit more privacy. Which makes sense with the work that we're doing. So we eventually, rented our place. That was the first big, spend that we had when we got our investor. So when we got the investor, we looked for a place, and fortunately, we were able to find one at a pretty good rate. One of our fellow startup people helped us actually look for that. So shout out to Machine Ventures also. So they were able to they were able to help us look for a place. It was actually right beside their office. And it was a good rate, good location, just walking distance from us, and our people, they wanted to stay in BGC. There was comfort for them because it was, they could work late and they feel safe pa rin if they have to go home. So I think that was a big thing for them, and that was something we really wanted to give them.
Yeah, but obviously with the pandemic, a lot of things has changed. So now we really realize that we can actually work from home. So all of us are actually working from our own homes, so that everyone's safe and secure. So yeah, I don't know how things will change moving forward, after all of these things have died, after COVID-19 dies down. So we're not sure. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
사장님, 저번에 그 랜섬웨어 사건 맡아본 적 있다 그랬죠? 혹시 보안 쪽 잘하시는 분 있을까요?
일단 전화 끊어봐요. 내가 알아볼게.
안 돼. 자기네 보안팀에 팀장 연락돼? 그때 랜섬웨어 잡았다던. 알겠어, 연락 줘. 그때 보험 그거 해킹에도 적용되지 않나? 그건 차량 해킹 보험이라.
Okay, so maybe Injae, you can explain what's happening and what ransomware is.
Ransomware is basically malware that runs on your computer because you downloaded something or someone has access to your server or whatnot. And basically, they will encrypt your drive. They will encrypt your data. And the only way to decrypt it is to pay up. Kaya siya ransomware. Interestingly, the bad people who do this are well known for holding up their end of the deal. If you pay, they will actually decrypt your software. Which is so interesting, no? I mean, I mean, like, I don't know, honor among thieves. I don't know what that is, but that's very interesting. Yeah, so that's that's the reason why you want to make sure that, especially like server software is running on very well protected networks. No?
그때 보험 그거 해킹에도 적용되지 않나? 그건 차량 해킹 보험이라서 여기 적용이 안 돼. 미치겠네. 아직
Interestingly, there's insurance for almost anything now. No, if you work with good insurance companies, they can actually give you a rate, and this is similar to like kidnap insurance. There that's a thing like that exists now. When you get kidnapped, you are insured up to a certain ransom amount.
Oh, okay.
So this is the same thing. So there are companies that do provide insurance for security breaches.
Interesting.
풀기가 너무 힘든데.
이거 푼다 해도 며칠은 걸려요. 대표님, 차라리 그냥 사목 송금하고 암호키를 받죠. 키만 받으면 파일은 다 살릴 수 있어.
3억을 줘도 키를 줄지는 미지수죠.
대표님 어떡해요? 지금 당장 송금하지 않으면 금액을 2배로 올리겠대요.
2배요? 6억이요? 미치겠네.
이봐요 대표님, 잘 생각해봐요. 우리가 이 알고리즘 개발하고 차량 개조하는데 든 돈이 20억이야. 3억이면 싸게 막는 거예요.
그래요, 당장 입금하고 키 받아요.
Okay, so that is a that type of decision making really happens in a business. Should we just pay up? Because at the end of the day, you can actually like turn everything into cost. Like, what is the cost of, like, for example, let's say if they get the security experts to fix it somehow, they will pay, like, let's say 400 million won. But if you pay the ransom, it's 300 million won. So there's things like that. Normally, it's not that big. Normally, kasi ransomware, what they do is like, it's most of the time it's not targeted. Meaning, whoever they hit with the ransomware, they normally ask for like a nominal amount, like 10,000 pesos, something like that. In dollars, of course, like $1,000. Well, it doesn't even reach $1,000. I think like $500, $1,000, something like that. No, because they want the decision to be easy, essentially. But of course, then that opens you up to. I mean, they know you're paying, so you might be a target later. So it's a very, very tricky. It's a very thin line, that slippery slope actually, that you want to be careful when you are traversing.
혹시 포트 열어놨었어?
뭐 하는 짓이죠?
우리 신입 개발자가 재택하면서 22번 포트를 열어놨는데 그때 타고 들어온 것 같아.
서 대표님, 백업은?
야, 네가 뭔데 그걸 물어봐?
시험 날짜 맞추느라 급해서 못했어요.
아무리 급해도 백업은 했어야죠. 2차 서버에 동기화하는 게 그렇게 어렵습니까?
Okay, so that little USB thing that he used, so it's either a set of portable apps, or more likely it's an OS that boots from a USB. If you're a privacy nerd, you might have heard of this. There is a pretty popular OS that runs on a USB called Tails. It's I forget what it's called, but A stands for amnesiac. So what it does kasi is that whenever you boot it up, it doesn't remember the last time you used it. So it's really, for privacy. Having said that, there are you can actually create bootable USBs and then boot from there, and then you have like portable applications that you can use to then access whatever hard drive or server or whatever it is that you want to look at. So that's common. So if you're interested, again, like, go to tails.org. You can install a USB. You can install Linux basically on that USB and like boot it from your computer. And then if you're looking for apps that run from the USBs, go to portableapps.com. So you can download LibreOffice and everything basically that you need, and you can run it from a USB.
Yeah. How about for backup? I think they were mentioning like how frequent should you back up your files?
Well, that depends on, you know, the policy of your system, what makes sense for your data, what makes sense for your users, and of course cost. Normally what happens when we do backups is, of course, you have like soft backups that are basically like sort of like there beside the server, and then you also have like backups that exist on tape offsite. So there are services that provide that service. There are like companies that provide that service wherein they will get your backup and store it in like a secure facility. So normally you would have more frequent like soft backups.
Yeah.
Like hourly, or not hourly is too much. Like daily. Actually, it depends on your system pala, no? But yeah, like daily, for example. And then you have a backup that is, especially for enterprise, for example, that's, let's say, every 15 days, and that's like stored in an offsite facility that is flood proof, humidity proof, stuff like that. So that's something that happens. That his question was valid. Why didn't you back up? Especially given like how critical this is.
Yeah,
so,
and I think testing is like in a week's time, right? They had this big testing thing. So
yeah. So
why didn't they back up?
Yeah, but I think they were sort of like setting up the two for, you know, they
For
are
failure.
the culprits. So
Yes, yeah.
so that's what's happening. Let's move on.
얼마? 야, 찾았다. 격리 저장소에 들어 있었어.
복구키 찾았어.
Okay, so how encryption happens is it's normally done through an asymmetric encryption methodology, no, or method. And what that means is that you have a different cryptographic key to encrypt your data, and a different key to decrypt your data. This is very similar if you've worked with enterprise before. Meron sila ng mga private key, public key. You've tried integrating systems, may ganun, no? Private key, public key. Public key is what you give to people, and they will use it to encrypt whatever it is you need encrypted. And then your private key is the only key that can decrypt it. So that's how it works. That's asymmetric encryption.
How did he find the
I have
decryption
through
key?
his magical analysis program. First of all, looking for, you know, like sort of finding that decryption key will take you years because it's designed to be, you know, it's not impossible, but it will take a very long time to do it. Okay, such that the chances of you finding it is very slim. No, now what's happening is that people are creating quantum computers. And why is that a big deal? Because quantum computers can solve issues, can actually look for that decryption key much faster. Okay?
So like Namdo-san.
So Namdo-san is a quantum computer.
computer.
So that is, you know, and the thing is, there is no I mean, it's impossible that, you know, how they did it here, unless whoever did the ransomware was dumb enough to actually also include the decryption key. So in which case, fine, thank you. But you know, but that's what's interesting is that you know, there are a lot of the attacks that are carried out are not necessarily done by experts. A lot of them are done by people called script kiddies. What are those? So those are people who essentially like copy code from, let's say, from anarchy.com or whatever. And then they will use it, and then they will deploy it, no. And so it's possible that they didn't know how it really works, so they included everything. So that does happen. But you know, having said that, assuming this is like a legit ransomware attack, like not including your private key is such an easy thing to do. And you know what they did is basically impossible. Normally what happens is if you have backups, that's why it was a big question. If you have backups, you'll just restore the system and just like, you know, catch up on the work that has been done, just redo it. And you know that's sort of like that's the best sort of like solution for it. Otherwise you pay. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for today. That's our reaction video for Startup, the Korean drama on Netflix. So I really learned so much today. I hope the viewers also learned a lot from this reaction video. If you have some things that you want to share with us also, comment on the comment section below. If you like this video, click on like, share, subscribe, and click on that notification bell for more videos like this. And yes, we will create more videos for Startup. So that's it for today. I'm Ginger and
I'm EJ.
Thank you for watching. Bye.